Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. As our industry continues to evolve, we're always finding ways to better serve our clients, our end users, our manufacturer partners, and folks really throughout the channel. And one of the ways is through diversified product offerings and service offerings. And to talk about that a little bit more today, I brought my friend Cory on to talk a little bit about how the newly launched LinkLab is helping that for a lot of partners in the AV industry. Cory, it's great to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I want to start, LinkLab. It's sort of a rebrand, but it's maybe sort of a more clarified vision of what you guys are offering from a service standpoint. Talk to us a little bit about what that means for you and maybe what the offering looks like.
Sure. So I'll reflect back on, for a long time we've been offering services at Exertis Almo. And for an extended period of time, everything was kind of just labor and installation focused. When I took over the business, there was a real expansion opportunity for us, but we still kind of had the same old, here's the name, Almo Professional Services, Exertis Almo Professional Services, and really we're so much more than that. So the change of the name isn't just a change of the name, it's really rebranding who we are. Culturally, there's a specific vibe to the team, and we wanted something that really kind of matched and mirrored the things that we bring to our integrator partners every single day that really helps explain what we're all about and the vision that we have and our mission going forward as we connect with more integrators. And LinkLab was the appropriate name for that. And it took us a year and 3 months roughly to come to that conclusion. So there was a lot of time, effort, dedication from a lot of people, a lot of collaboration as far as what really makes sense, bringing it all together, and then now positioning it to our integrator partners, which we're doing currently.
Well, it's a great service offering, right? And probably 10 years ago, you may have had integrator partners shaking their fists saying, what the heck are you doing?
Yes.
But really the heart and spirit of it is actually integrator support and installer support, whether it's drafting, whether it's filling in a gap that the integrator may not have a core competency or the staffing or things like that. Talk a little bit about how that product or the service was actually designed to help fill in those gaps for integrators.
Yeah, so really, and that's the full intention from the start of our service offering many years ago was to do just that. We're in support of our integrators. We don't connect with end users the same way. We don't exchange dollars with end users. We really wanted to create something that was on a supplemental basis. And a lot has changed and evolved over time. So like you were saying, certain specialty aspects or something that maybe an integrator is lacking, we may be more proficient in or have available expertise in. That's what we want to position to our integrator. So it really is where the need is for our integrator. We just want to be able to plug into that need. We just want to be there, solve problems, which every integrator has problems. It's all varying degrees, of course, but they all have challenges. They all have things that they're working on, that they're trying to overcome, obstacle barriers that are positioned and broadcast in their way. And just distribution, what we do as a whole, just as an organization, the value we bring is to do those types of things. And we're just layering that in with services as well.
Well, it's fantastic, especially for a lot of small and medium-sized integrators who come in with the technical proficiency and are great at system design and are great at the buying cycle, but may lack the staff for an installation, or they may lack the staff for support. Let's talk specifically about those small, medium-sized integrators. Why is a service like this incredibly valuable for them?
Sure. Growth and expansion, period. I mean, I've never talked to an integrator that just said, we're comfortable where we're at. And so when we're talking about really having strategic conversations with our integrators, whether they're prepping for the new year or it's a vision that they have long term, we want to dissect as much of that information as possible and then being able to position our services for those expansion and growth opportunities. Again, like small, medium integrators always have, hey, there's an ambition, I want to do this, or I want to be relevant in this particular region. We can help them scale without them having to scale internally in the same manner, which is a lot of times cost restrictive, time restrictive. Then you have training elements. We can at least help them get up and running in certain geographies, certain areas. They don't have to turn jobs away. There's a lot of, obviously, work now that can be done remotely. Okay, let us be your feet on the street. Let us be your boots on the ground in certain areas. And so we've helped enable a lot of our clients to be able to take on more work across the nation that they wouldn't have been able to do before, at least not in a profit-friendly manner.
Well, let's talk about that, right? I think that there are integrators who 4 or 5 years ago were probably inundated with business, and then now folks who, there's obviously a lot of people who are still doing really, really well, but the industry has just shifted and changed a little bit, right?
Of course.
Because it's harder to win business, there's product differentiation is a little bit more challenging. Talk about how, when you think about expanding regionally or expanding, maybe we're here in Dallas, right? Expanding to a place like Austin or Houston, how a service like this really gives you a lot of legs, not only from a services and manpower standpoint, but even from a global reach standpoint.
Yeah. So one thing that's very interesting that comes up all the time, specifically when you think about clients in specific regions, right? If you're an integrator, say, okay, I can do, I own this. I've heard integrators says, I own this market, and they may be working with certain end user clients that have satellite branches or other offices or other areas within the country that they need to be able to expand that Pro AV footprint in. And so we can help, they can tap into our network and they can utilize us to be able to do that expansion strategy. So they never have to say no. And that's the great thing is like, okay, my customer is X and they have 4 satellite locations. It's cost prohibitive for me to send someone out there. I don't have the resource internally to even support it, but I don't want to say no to this customer because of the opportunity to continue growing with them. Great, that's when you can tap us in. So the regionality, the global perspective of it all is like, it's really opening up the opportunity for customers to say yes to opportunities and not have that restriction of no all the time.
Well, Cory, we're obviously in sort of the beginning stages officially of it, but what's the growth path for the next 5-10 years for the program?
So I'm ambitious. So for me, what we want to continue doing, obviously making sure that we're creating awareness with our integrator partners that what we do, what our offering is, we do exist, we're here to help. But even beyond that, just expanding our capability overall, right? So we've been in traditional Pro AV services for years and we continue to expand that, but now we're really working on warehouse and logistics services, provisioning services, right? When customers come to us and they say, hey, I have a problem, can you help me solve it? Those are opportunities for us to build business around. And a lot of these new services that we've offered are because a client comes to us and says, I have this challenge, I have this problem. And if we start hearing that and we hear it replicated and we have multiple customers, they're like, okay, we're onto something here. We can actually build something to make sure that we can mitigate these challenges for our customers and put them in a position to win. So for us, I know it's a little bit of an ambiguous answer. We have a certain vision for the long term, and that'll include onboarding additional services for our organization to support all of our customers, even outside of the traditional Pro AV customers.
Well, Cory, it's incredible to see a lot of this in action, right? I know even we've had the chance to interact here at E4 with a number of those different partners who utilize this service. One of the things that I'm excited most about is this actually opens the door for a lot of new talent in our industry. Maybe that integrator who's newer to the industry, who's got some good business, who wants to have that growth path, right? You open up so many doors, obviously, for the people who are well established, but even those new people in the industry. Talk a little bit about how this helps support those folks who maybe are finding their way into the integration community for the first time.
Yes, well, it's an interesting question because one of the things that we really want to do is that we want to be able to support not only in our effort from here's the services we can deliver, but a perfect example at the E4 is we've got our lead engineer and our drafting manager who are actually offering up courses to show folks how to use AutoCAD, like specific things that you can do with AutoCAD, shortcuts that you can create, and it is CTS certified. So not only are we creating value in the fact that we're training people and helping our customers, listen, we can do those things for them and we want to do those, but how cool is it for us to enable the folks that don't know how to do it to be able to be more proficient, and here's the shortcuts, and here's the things that we've learned along the way. By the way, here's your CTS credit as well. For us, there's so much value in imparting knowledge to the collective community, so we want to keep doing more of those things. I think we already have 2 CTS courses that have been accredited, and Angus and Kevin, who do those courses, are absolutely amazing. They'll be at the show. They're doing 1 course this time. They typically do 2, but they're even generating more coursework around best practices in engineering and drafting and certain principles of drafting, and even being able to take our AutoCAD training sessions to more of an advanced level. So, it's not just saying, hey, we have services available, utilize us for that, but it's our way of giving back to the integration community and saying, hey, we've got some training that we can help you with along the way. So when you are ramping up and you're bringing people into the fold, you've got an outlet for some of those things, and we're happy to help with that.
Well, Cory, that's fantastic to hear. I'll tell you what, I know even folks like me, right, that may have more questions. What's the best way for them to reach out to find out a little bit more about the program?
Oh, it's a great question. Well, we do have a new website. I forget exactly what the web address is.
The text is down here.
There you go.
There you go. This is the power of editing.
So because of our new rebrand, we've officially launched a new website. So you can find that Google LinkLab. Actually, Google will help it keep crawling. So then hopefully it auto generate when you do that. But you can of course reach out to me as well. So Cory Allen, so you can reach me at callen@almo.com, or any one of our service development managers as well. So we've got 3 across the country. So if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to them as well.
Well, Cory, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.